Doing? Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Welcome to Cooped Up Live, should I say. Just my sporadic broadcast where I just talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about while we are waiting on folks to join the live broadcast. Coopedup.com is my website. You can check that out at any time. I'm Cooped Up is my handle on all the socials. Would love a follow, particularly if you're on the Instagrams. And wherever you watch or listen to this, it is on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, as well as rebroadcast in audio format on all the major podcasting platforms. Be sure to click the bell, subscribe button, whatever they call it, so that you do not miss a second of the fun. Hey, Mama, how you doing? Hope you had a good weekend. So we have officially entered. I don't know. Would you call it social season? I'm not really sure the right phrase for it, but basically we have hit the time of the year where between now and just before Thanksgiving, every freaking weekend has some major event. Some weekends have multiple major events that we have to go to, or we've been invited to, or we're obligated to go to in some cases. And then it tapers off for Thanksgiving, and then December it happens again just because of Christmas, and of course my birthday. And so we have officially entered that season. I was looking at the calendar earlier today. So I have a calendar that I keep on, a dry erase calendar on the refrigerator, and I have a full month view and then a week view, two different ones. The full month view, it's you just dry it off or wipe it off and put all the dates on it. And so I'll sit down at the beginning of each month or at the end of each month and create the one for the upcoming month. And putting everything on there, I don't put like sports practices and stuff on there. I will put actual like tournaments, matches, meets, bouts, social events, major birthdays, major other events and stuff like that, school vacations, all of that, right? Well, it is all, and I've got different colors. I don't have like a system, like different colors for different things. I just kind of play it by ear. And sometimes the markers work better one time than the other. So there's no rhyme or reason to the coloring, just making it colorful. But did that. And then the week view is of that week. And it tells us like for Mason School, for example, they have green days and blue days, and the schedule is different on when he has to be picked up and all of that kind of stuff. On green days, he gets picked up at 1:40. On blue days, it's at 3:30. And it helps Todd and I figure out who's doing what when. I'll also put the meal plan on it. And I'm making a note to myself. I need to tell y'all about this chicken I made last night. Excuse me. I have like this nagging little cough today. I think it's just allergies. Oh, we also have had a lot of ozone here in Dallas the last couple of days. But anyway, so we have something big every weekend between now and like the middle of November. We've got we've got to go to. So Mason has a match this weekend, a meet for cross country. Claire, I think it's next weekend. I hope it's not this weekend, has a bout in Oklahoma City. It's on a Sunday at 5:00 in the evening. It's a 2-hour bout. So we will just jump in the car and head straight right back afterwards and get home probably like 10:30, 11. Can't believe I have become the parent that is driving across state lines so that my child can play sports. I cannot believe, but yet here we are. At least it's something cool like roller derby, right? And then we've got like black tie dinner at the end of the month. We've got SMU homecoming, the Distinguished Alumni Awards. Actually, that's all the same weekend. Distinguished Alumni Awards are like on a Thursday. Friday, we have a 50th birthday party, which I'll get to shortly. Saturday, we have SMU homecoming in the morning. We have black tie dinner in the evening. And then the next day, we have, what do we have? Mason's, we have to drive to Waco because Mason has already qualified for the state level for cross country for his school. And so that thing's on a Monday, the 29th, something like that. So yeah, that whole end of the month is going to be crazy. But I realized something today also. You know how, so most of the people who work for me are in their 20s, right? That's typically the case, maybe younger 30s. And it never ceases to amaze me, mostly females, women. It never ceases to amaze me how many weddings and all of the things involving a wedding that these girls go to. Like, it just shocks me the amount of money they spend on traveling and gifts and showers and bachelorettes and all of the, and everything's a destination wedding. I've got one of them in Telluride right now on a destination wedding, all this kind of stuff. And she herself had one in Italy. But, and I'm always like, oh my God, how expensive. First of all, you don't own your own life even because you're constantly doing this for your friends. Granted, hopefully they attend yours too when you have it. But I'm just like, I'm so glad that gay marriage was banned when I was growing up because I got out of having to do all of that shit. Well, I'll tell you what, it has now come back around because today alone, I got 2 invitations to a 50th birthday party. Not the same one. 2 different people, completely unrelated to each other. One's a gay guy I've known forever. One's a straight gal I've known forever. And Kelly is saying, wedding, she's in the same boat with her team. Happy to be in my 50s. Yeah, well, so that's, maybe I think there's another hump when you hit 50. You could tell me. But today alone, and I can tell you at least like 4 50th birthday parties that I have. And then this weekend we were at like a 30th wedding anniversary party for some friends of ours. And so the 50s are, and I remember there being a little blip when everyone turned 40, but now everyone's turning 50. And so luckily these parties are, one is at a place called Double D's here in Dallas. Surprisingly, it looks like a strip club. It sounds like a strip club. It is not. It's supposed to be a really cute bar. And they're just playing off of Design District is, but it's on the strip, Riverside, where all of this like titty bars and stuff are, or not. I guess not all of them. Most of those are actually on Harry Hines now, but there used to be a whole bunch along Riverside. And so they're playing on that. One there, one's at a house. And then I've heard of one that is in Puerto Vallarta that we are most likely not going to go to. I'm not real sure I'm going to do that. Aaron is saying, do not invite me to your wedding. I'll host baby showers, but preparing for funerals at this point. Yes. That's the other thing. So I had to have a conversation with one of my folks saying, hey, your wedding it's going to be fabulous. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be all of this, but please don't invite me. Like, don't feel obligated to invite me. I don't want to go. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, it's not that I don't want to go to your wedding. See how hard this is to talk about, right? Like it's not, I don't want to go to your wedding. I don't want to go to a wedding far away, especially if you feel you're obligated to invite me. Like, stick with your friends and family. Like, it's okay. I'll go to your party here in Dallas, which is exactly what we did. Kelly's saying, but do 50ers want a gift? I don't or wouldn't. No, everyone is saying no gifts, or maybe just like a bottle of wine or something. I don't want anything. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I have some new shit that I've put up here behind me because I closed my office, moved to a smaller space that was already fully furnished. And so I've got all kinds of little knickknacks and bric-a-bracs that have made their way here to my office here in the house. So, but yeah, so anyway, busy. And then Mason does, and I talked about this briefly the other day, Mason does not have a single 5-day school week for the next month, at least the next month. And actually next week, he has a 3.5-day school week. So he is off. So he's off this Friday and he's off on Monday. That's their fall break. And then on Wednesday, they have half a day because the juniors and sophomores are taking the PSAT and the seniors are painting their parking spots or something like that. So the freshmen are just going to be released at noon. I mean, I'm just like, girl, this is the life. So anyway, what I noted on here just a moment ago was I made the yummiest dinner last night. So it's called Marry Me Chicken. And supposedly it was like on TikTok or something like that. I didn't see it there. I saw it in the New York Times cooking section. By the way, fantastic app, worth paying for if you like to cook, or even if you don't really like to cook but like to have variety. NYT Cooking. It's a standalone app. You have to pay like $20 a year to use it. Totally worth it. But anyway, so I saw an article in there about this called Marry Me Chicken. And so supposedly this person was on television or a show or something. I might be getting my facts a little bit wrong, but they were making this specific dish. And the person who was sampling it was like, I would marry you over this. Like, this is so good, right? Now, mine wasn't, I think mine could have used some improvement, but it was still very good. So marry me chicken. So basically it is like chicken cutlets that you flour and you lightly like pan fry in some olive oil, set them to the side, and then you use the juices in the pan to make this very rich. So this is not a low calorie dish. So you put you put some chicken stock in there, a bunch of spices, garlic, what else? Parmesan, heavy cream, I can't remember what else. And it turns it into like almost like a cream sauce, but it's like a red cream sauce. And then you put the chicken back in it and you toss it around in there to kind of reheat the chicken. And then you can serve it over rice, which is what we did. Oh, shit, that was some good stuff. Everyone in the house was like, oh, that's some good stuff. I just remembered we have some leftovers because I am starving. And Claire has roller derby practice tonight, which means I don't eat until like 8:30. So as soon as I sign off, I'm going to go heat up a little bit of that marry me chicken. But anyway, so look it up. I'm sure if you just Google marry me chicken, you can find the recipe. But it's good. It looks intimidating. It looks like it is a simple 63-step process, but it was actually not very hard at all. I would say the key to it is to maybe pre-measure a lot of your stuff beforehand. Like I just had a measuring spoon out that had like the tomato paste in it, the one that had the oregano in it. I put like in the cup thing, the chicken stock, another one with heavy cream, sort of like you're on a TV show, so that you got the time right. Anyway, and then if you have a GMC vehicle, especially if you have a pickup truck, listen up. So Carrie's gentleman friend, who lives in Houston, comes up occasionally, that he was up here and they went to eat at Hillstone, which is the old Houston's. They changed the name to Hillstone, same restaurant. Love it. But it is like in the heart of like bougie white Highland Park, Dallas, right? And so they went and had lunch there, or maybe dinner. I think it was lunch actually. And they had lunch there and parked in the parking lot for Hillstone. Ate, came out, and the guy couldn't find his truck. And he's like, "Where's my truck?" And Carrie was like, "Did it get towed?" So she went back into the restaurant to the hostess stand. She's like, "We can't find our truck." And the hostess goes, "Oh my God, not you too." It turns out that they have had 3 pickup trucks, all GMC models, pickup trucks. Denali, I think, is the type he had. I don't know all the truck names, but 3 pickup truck. And there is supposedly like a whole bunch of theft rings right now that can get in and out in less than like 10 minutes and have your truck stolen. There's some box that they have that like disables the alarm system and the tracking and the OnStar and all of that kind of stuff. And so it happened. And, I've heard about this, and I've heard about people stealing catalytic converters and all that stuff. My Range Rover sits in the driveway. I have no worry. I'm a knock on wood, but I have no worry about it because Range Rover, you don't want, they have no value at a chop shop, basically. GMCs, on the other hand, because there are so many interchangeable parts and other trucks and stuff that can use them, they just get chopped. And so what Carrie said that the police told them is by the time they came out, so they checked the security cameras, it was 18 minutes into their lunch that it was gone. Like so they followed them. They parked nearby. They waited for them to get out. So they were already targeted at this point to get out, waited a few moments, and then kind of pulled up next to it, did whatever they did with the box, got into the car and drove off. And it was gone, right? 18 minutes later, after they sat down for lunch, it was gone. And they took about an hour and a half for lunch. So they come out. And so the police told them, they're like, "Oh, honey, that's already gone. It's already been chopped up. It's gone." Like they just take them real quick. And they just busted a ring like in Plano or something. So, that takes some balls to steal a car, though, in Highland Park, because Highland Park police have nothing to do. And they're allegedly I don't know. They're really strict about certain things. And so, and I think when they called him, they were there within like 3 minutes, Carrie said. So she called me yesterday and told me all about that. And I can't remember what kind of truck Eric is driving these days. I meant to call him. I have not yet, to check on him and make sure that he is not driving that his dad's pickup. Because how sad would that be? So not only getting your truck stolen, but getting the truck stolen that your dad left to you when he died. And you made a special trip up to go get it and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so if you have a GMC, be careful. You know, that's the exact reason why when we had, what was it? I may have had my Range Rover already, but we also had a Suburban that the au pair drove. How bougie was that fucking sentence? We had an old ass Suburban that we bought for $8,000. That it cloth seats, all that stuff. And when we would go on road trips, we would actually take that Suburban. Not like if we would drive to Todd's parents' house outside of Asheville, like 17-hour drive, we would take it because if anything were to happen while we were on the road, we wanted to be in a vehicle that every part could be found easily in Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, any of these states, Louisiana, any of these states that we were driving through on either the south or north route there. And we didn't want to be stuck. And so we were like, GMC, that's the way to go. And I think Suburban is a Chevy and a Chevy is a GMC, right? I think so. Either way, interchangeable American parts. And they don't steal tailgates as much anymore, is what Carrie was telling me, because they have figured out a way with the new 5-way folding tailgates or something. Eric's dad's truck, now Eric's truck, I mean, it could fold down and be a bar. It could be a seat. It could be like, it has steps. Oh, it's crazy. It's like a transformer. Anyway, what else? Did you, have y'all read that on Wednesday, I already had to have a conversation with the kids about this weekend. On Wednesday at 2:20 Eastern, so 1:20 Central Time, every cell phone in the United States of America is supposedly going to get an emergency broadcast sent to it. It is a test of the emergency broadcast system. And I believe that radio and TV stations are receiving a similar test, but they don't necessarily have to air it, is what I was understanding. They just wanted to make sure that they were able to receive it. But all cell phones are getting it. And so I wanted to tell the kids about it in advance, and so maybe tell your kids about it too in advance, or grandparents or elderly parents or whatever, that when this happens, it's nothing to be afraid of. It is just a test of the emergency broadcast system. And that because I can imagine how fucking disruptive is that going to be to like schools, like high schools and junior highs where kids have phones, how confusing in like nursing homes. If you're in a work meeting, how many work meetings are going to be disturbed by all these phones going off at 1:20? It'll be Todd's luck that he is in a work meeting with people in Germany, because that's who he talks to a lot now, and they won't have any idea what's going on. But I told the kids, because I didn't want them to be freaked out. I didn't want their imaginations going wild. I got one that has anxiety, and so and it's anticipatory anxiety, which in hindsight sometimes it's better to just let things happen than to tell her about them, because anticipatory anxiety means that you are already anxious because you know something is going to happen. And knowing about it in advance doesn't take the sting out of it as much. But still, I didn't want anyone else telling them. So anyway, so tell your friends and neighbors, and especially children and older people in your life that might not know the difference about it. I don't know what it's going to say. Have they done this before? It's on Wednesday. My mom is asking. It is on Wednesday. Speaking of grandparents, it is on Wednesday, and here in Texas, it's going to be at 1:20 p.m., 1:20 in the afternoon. And I wonder also, though, is it going to be, so like I have Amber Alerts turned off on my phone, for example. And I know when I first did it, I felt so bad about it, but they scare the shit out of me every single time they go off. And 9 times out of 10, actually 9.9 times out of 10, it's just some like custody battle. And it's always like the non-custodial parent or the parent who's not supposed to have the kid extra long or whatever doing it. And I'm like, I don't need to be involved in your white trash family dramas. scaring the shit out of me on my phone. So so I'm wondering if I have that emergency alert off, are they overriding the phones? Like, I don't know how that's working. Anyway, so Wednesday afternoon, 1:20 Central Time, 2:20 Eastern. And I think it's what they're wanting to use in case we have like a and it always makes me wonder, because actually I do think they did this once before. And it makes you wonder, what do they know that they feel they need to make sure that they're able to tell us about in case? I mean, this is where your imagination can go wild. Is it nuclear? Is it health related? Is it aliens? Is it weather? Like, I don't know. Couldn't be weather, because the United States is so big, there's no one weather phenomenon. A meteor, something like that. It would have to be something catastrophic. Anyway, so there's that. And the last thing I have on my card, actually I'm using a pink piece of paper today, is I don't know if you follow me on my personal Facebook. I posted last night something about homecoming, these homecoming proposals that kids are doing right these days. Like, it's all the rage with the kids these days, right? And actually, I don't know if it's all the rage or if it's the new expectation. But I said something to the effect of, these homecoming proposals are precious, but I'm so glad I grew up when we didn't have to make a big deal about everything, right? Some people called me out on being judgmental about that. And actually, if you really look at what I said, now I did make a couple of judgmental things later in the thread, a little wine in my system at that point, but there are a lot of times where I would just make a statement. Like in that case, I literally just stated, I am so glad that I did not have to worry about stuff like this. Like, I don't even remember people having homecoming dates. Back in my day, you just showed up at the party and danced with whoever was there. And if you had a boyfriend or girlfriend already, that's who you went with. But some people were kind of getting defensive about it. And I'm like, it's not that. I mean, it is. Here's my take on all of that on social media. Same with like these bridal showers and all this stuff just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the bar getting higher and higher and higher and all that kind of stuff, right? Here's my thing. If you truly enjoy it and you truly want to do it, and that truly makes you happy, and it is not creating more burden in your life, it is not creating resentment between you and other people, or even just within yourself and all, knock yourself out. You do you, boo, right? That's how I feel about that. If you, though, if you are throwing a party and you can't afford goodie bags, don't sweat it. It's okay not to have a goodie bag at a party. I don't deserve anything for coming to your party, right? Or if you are not really good at creating like an event or whatever, right? Like, it's okay. If you have great joy in that, like, for example, I very, 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 very much enjoy Christmas decorating. And I enjoy my house being as gaudy as fuck at Christmas time, right? And it'll all start in less than 30 days. I already have a plan. November 1, lights start showing up, turning on, all that kind of stuff. Reindeer go up, and 30-foot reindeer goes up in the front yard. Pretty soon thereafter, I have to depend on other people to help me with that. But you know what? That brings me joy. It's something I like. It is something I do. I do not expect anyone else to keep up. In fact, I like that other people don't keep up. But I don't decorate for Halloween at all. I have one Halloween decoration named Skinny Bitch. It's my gay best friend from my youth. It's a skeleton. He doesn't have kids. He comes into town for 1 month, hangs out here at the house. I do silly photos with him. Skinny Bitch. That's my one Halloween thing, because I don't want to have to take down Halloween to put up Christmas. That's part of it. Also, I just am not a big Halloween person. I have a costume. I do dress up every year. I do enjoy that part of it. But so just because you can talk about something doesn't mean that you're judging it. Be less defensive, people. Now, I did say a couple of things in the comments. When I was being sassy in the comments. Like, I wasn't actually being judgmental. I was just being sassy. And there's a difference, right? Anyway. All righty. Well, that's all I have got for today. Also, thin crowd today. So With that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you were loved. I love that you watched this. Thank you so much. This is my therapy. Todd was talking about it at the party on Saturday night about how he thought it was a waste of my time at first, but then he realizes it's actually very good for my mental health. And you know what's good for, you know what happens when daddy has good mental health? Everybody else is happier in the house too. So I will most likely not be here tomorrow because on 3:30 pickup days for Mason, I just don't think Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to work long term because I get home at like 4:20 from picking him up at 3:30. I kid you not. Usually we also have a stop or two because his school's by the Whole Foods and all that. But anyway, so I will most likely be here next on Wednesday at 3:30 for another episode of Cooped Up Live. Should I say? I'll see you then. Bye.